Oh, the campaign is complete. It's the Hasbro Pulse Plasma Series Haslab 2 in the Box Ghost Trap and PKE meter. Ugh. Now I need oxygen. So my final notes and some extra little tidbits on this edition of Buster Quest. Well, last night at the stroke of midnight, the Haslab campaign for the 2 in the Box Ghost Trap and PKE meter completed, and it's been a trip as far as the campaign goes and everything. So when we look at it, we can see that we've got, when it ended, 24,361. So that's how many backers that we ended up with at the end of that. So basically, we blew the Proton Pack Haslab completely out of the water. So that had 19,061. I can go back to that page, and that's what it shows. Because it's still up to my knowledge. I haven't checked on it, but it should still be up. But that doesn't mean anything with this campaign, because this one is about a ghost trap and a PKE meter. Blah, 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 blah. So there we go. And what I've got here is I've got a few notes of interest for Emily and the gang. I don't know what role Emily has in it. She might be the project manager. If so, great, fantastic. Excuse me. And so first I want to say thank you, first of all, for this Haslab. It's very much appreciated by myself and by everybody that's backing it, of course. Naturally. Otherwise, they wouldn't have backed it if they didn't appreciate it. So there we go. So, but, we've got all that, and I have a few notes here for everything here. So first, I'm just going to go ahead and just talk about all of them. I've got notes here, and on my Nextcloud, I've moved everything to using the cards themselves to kind of house everything. All my notes, all of my additional files, whatever I wanted to make sure that I've got included for each video. I'm getting away from the tasks option in Nextcloud. So I'm going to just see how it runs. So basically, on this Haslab for the PKE meter and the ghost trap and stuff like that, I'm going to talk about the PKE meter first. So the first note I have is the PKE meter wings should be the same dimensions as the prop. So yeah, when we saw the 1027 event, we saw that those wings were kind of, wide. And Emily did mention that they are going to be thinner. So I took that as, okay, the PKE meter wings should be the same dimensions as the prop. On top of that, the wings should also be made out of metal, not this plastic stuff, because that's what everybody does. Everybody that makes a trap, they make them plastic. So take the lead, set a precedent, make them out of metal, die cast. The underneath the wings, they don't necessarily have to be enclosed. It'd be great if they were, but they don't have to be. That would just require an extra die cast piece of metal to adhere up inside there. But doesn't have to be there. They can be open underneath. That's just my opinion, but they should be metal, because people want as close to the real thing as possible. Real thing meaning the prop. The PKE meter wing LED animations. I see that on the programming model, that my suggestion was not necessarily followed, but that the animation is random between the separate LEDs. that may have already been on the board, as it were, to make sure that that got done. And it wasn't for the 1027 event. They just went all in sequence. But it's good to see that on the programming model that was featured on tested, that they are randomized, so that's good. But my additional notes for that would be the PKE meter wing LED animation should be slow when they're angled down. So when they're pointing downwards, like so, that should be slow. And when they raise up, they should be going fast. So let's see that happen. The PKE meter taser nubs at the end of the wings should be their own separate metal parts, not just these little, existing pieces that put, because you're dealing with something that's supposed to be electrically conductive, and you want it to look like it's the real thing. So you want those to be separate little nubs with a little metal ring or rubber ring. Ideally a rubber grommet, but if you have to use metal, fine, whatever. It's a toy. But if we could get little rubber grommets and a little metal nub poking out of the center, fantastic. Let's see. Moving on to the trap. The trap doors themselves. Currently, they're using a step motor of sorts, so that when it goes up, it literally goes like that, and that's the motion. When you look in the productions, do the traps actually do that? No, they don't. They snap open, bang, 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 bang. So, perfect example, the dirt farm. The 110 traps that were buried in the ground. All of those, those are spared Halloween traps, but even still, in the actual production, how it was recorded and filmed is they snapped open and they snapped shut. So you want to duplicate that by using a solenoid. Use a solenoid. No doubt there are solenoids that are roughly about the same size as those motors. Like that. Use those. And because of using a solenoid, of course, you're basically slapping the trap lid against plastic along the trap length, the door length. And of course, over time, that would wear out, cause damage, wear out the paint job, anything like that. So what you would want to do in that particular instance is that you just want to do similar to how you handled the Neutrino wand, because I've had it open, and I noticed that for the emitter piece, when it it slides out, and there's a little piece of rubber tape to kind of help cushion the impact. So you want to use something similar to that, or a run of tape along the length of the door, so that when those slap open, they're slapping up against a rubber tape or a rubber, a softening point or something like that. Or just have two pieces, one on each end, that can take that impact so that you don't lose a whole lot of the cosmetic. So there you go. Let's see. Speakers on all of the items should not be the ones used in the Neutrino wand nor the proton pack. Here's why. People don't want AM fidelity, amplitude modulation radio, quality. Those are, I will say they are good speakers, but they're good for the ordinary toys. This is Hasbro Pulse. This is the high-end stuff. Let's get speakers that match that. So, better fidelity speakers. We absolutely need those. Got this, don't cross the streams. So, don't cross the streams. But, that's meaning, don't upset anyone. Granted, there are going to be those that go on this and they're going to get really nitty-gritty about things, and They're gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't right. This is right." I can think of a guy that's gonna go in there and gonna be like, "Well, yeah, they might have done this because of this, but is that really what it is?" And get all picky, honky dory about it, in a negative fashion, and that's not cool. Um, you know, for what these are scanned from the original props. Fantastic, I love that. Um, and some of these guys are going, they may look at it and just be like, okay, well, yeah, well, if it was scanned from the original prop, what is that original prop based off of? Is it based off something original from 1984? Blah, 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 blah. And my hats off to Ben Eady. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Ben Eady, fabulous guy. He's funny. He's dork. He's comically dorky at times, and that's awesome. I love that. That's really good. But my recommendation, of course, to Haslab, or Hasbro Pulse, is don't cross the streams. Try not to upset anyone. But of course, there's no guarantee that won't happen. So you just you cooperate, go corporate. You basically grin and bear it, and I've seen that. So those are my notes of things I wanted to make sure I got across. So see, and I got 3 extra notes here. Well, actually, one of them is making sure that I said the entire title, and that Wind and Bee. But anyhow, I've got a note here that says discuss delivery thoughts. All right, so let's look back at the Proton Pack, and you already know what I'm talking about. The folks over at Hasbro, you already know what I'm talking about. You said, "Oh yeah, we'll deliver it by spring." Hey, you kept to that. Awesome, awesome. But were we expecting to get it in January of 22? No, not necessarily. Was it a nice surprise? Yeah, it was a nice surprise. So yeah, you kind of held to the statement of delivery by spring of 2023. Awesome. That was great and everything like that. So I'm going to take that as how the delivery of this Haslab is taking place. It says, "Oh, by late fall." Okay. So that, by late fall, stuff like that. Well, late fall is, the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we got Christmas in a couple of weeks. So that's cool. The solstice is even better because it starts getting brighter. Thank you. Days start getting longer. Awesome. So, and the earth will be born anew as the sun returns. So, anyhow. So late delivery in late fall of 2024. Awesome. So, based on the Proton Pack is where I can pretty much expect that we're going to be receiving that a lot sooner than late fall. Late fall, of course, is like I said, typically is that stretch between Thanksgiving and the Christmas time. So the solstice, the 21st, 20th, excuse me. But based on the delivery of the Proton Pack, we can probably expect this to be delivered before Halloween, before the end of October. So, I myself, I don't care one way or the other. I think it's awesome. If people are surprised of delivery before Halloween, that is just magnificent. And yeah, so if we get it at the beginning of the fall, at the end of September, even better. But I'm based on the Proton Pack, I'm expecting before Halloween. So we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, Hasbro's going to do Hasbro, and they're not going to say anything until shipments start happening. And people will find out at that point. And they may be like, hey, aren't we awesome? You know, in however they, you know, talk about it. So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah. And now that we're after the end of the campaign, Hasbro can get down to business and get moving forward. And they didn't wait. So, and I'll tell you why. They didn't wait to get started because of, well, at the stroke of midnight, they started running authorizations. Makes sense. I mean, I worked in the credit card industry, particularly in chargebacks, credit card disputes. So I got to learn a lot of how merchants operate. And for the company that I worked for, I have very, very little doubt that that company processed for Hasbro. I don't remember off the top of my head, but if I was to go into our merchant database, I say ours, if I'm still with them, I'm not. But if I was to go into that database today and do a search for it, I bet you I would see it there. I bet you they process for them. Not going to say who it is. So, there you go. They got the business right away at the stroke of midnight and ran authorizations on all of the orders. And I know this because in my email when I got up this morning, I had an email from Hasbro Pulse at 12:07. Payments all set. There you go. Good to go. And yeah, so the authorization is run. When are they going to run the deposit file? Probably at the during the midnight cycle today. Sorry, I say midnight cycle, because who did I work for? A processing company. And everything's done on the Linux side. Typically, yeah, it's all Linux based, and even today it's probably more is Linux based because I was in chargebacks, dealing with disputes, and I was also in QA, dealing with software, and everything was Linux based. So, and because of that, it's easier to run cron jobs midnight. So why not run our deposit file at the same time? So there you go. They send it on in using their software. The merchants do using their software and everything like that. It comes into the processing center, goes through those mainframes, and goes out to the card organizations, and then it goes from there out to the separate banks or the financial institutions. So there we go. A little tidbit on how that works. It gets it's even more detailed, but I'm not even going to go into that because some of it, a portion of it, is way above my head. I'm just a bullet point person. So there we go. Yeah, so those were my bullet points that I gave down there. PKE meter wings should be the same dimensions as the prop, and they should also be made out of metal. The animation should be slow when the wings are angled down, fast when they're outstretched. The taser nubs at the end, they should be their own separate metal parts with a grommet. And the trap doors should be padded with, rubber, and use solenoids to snap them open and snap them shut. Speakers on the items should not be the cheap Hasbro toy ones. They should be Hasbro Pulse high-end speakers, not AM quality. A little better, please. Thank you. I appreciate it. And don't cross the streams. Don't make anybody PO'd. So there you go. So that's everything on that. I used the comments in the comments option for Nextcloud cards for all of those, and that's fantastic. I've got details for the description down below, and also for all of the tags and everything. For attachments, I've got the I've got the thumbnail in there. So this has worked out pretty well. I think I might actually continue forward with that. So there we go. But that was this video for Buster Quest. And so congratulations everybody at Hasbro and Haslab and Hasbro Pulse and everything like that. Congratulations to all of the backers. You're getting something really cool. And it's not gonna be a wild ride. It's not gonna be a dorky geeky ride. It'll be a ride between now and fall, because further development can take place, and we can get little updates, such as I have no doubt that we're going to be told at some point that, hey, we happen to break 20,000 backers and we get another patch that looks like a gear for the Ghostbusters Engineering Corps. Because you do see it in the teaser trailer for Frozen Empire. Yeah. So, and who knows what other things, we had other things come up during the Proton Pack, such as the Egon's notebook going from 16 pages to 32, things of that sort, stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe we'll get an extra blueprint poster of some kind. Who knows? Maybe we'll get Ecto 1. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something regarding the containment unit. There we go. Yeah, since we've got a trap now, and you've got that inner trap sleeve, the outer sleeve can, come apart, stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a Haslab for the containment unit, the red portion that you hang on a wall. Wouldn't be surprised if we got that, because that would be awesome. I would certainly appreciate a Haslab for that unit. It's just a big chunk of plastic, really, with one soundboard, maybe two, one or two little circuit boards and a few LEDs that can operate off of increase and decrease intensities to make it look like it's an incandescent bulb or something like that. Yeah, that would be cool. I'd certainly appreciate a containment unit. Would I actually jump in on a Haslab for that? I think so. Would we be getting one for the gigameter, stuff like that? I'm not all that super interested in the gigameter myself. That's the one where you had two little microphone head things that went like this, and you had a spinning LED thingy. I don't know. It's cool, but I don't know. It was we tried to be cool, and it shows. That's what that says. And I know there's more than one individual that would agree with me on that. All of you who are all into Ghostbusters 2, fine. It's your thing. Whatever. Me, I don't like it. They try to be funny, and it shows. They try to be cool, and it shows. And, yeah. Ghostbusters 1 and Afterlife, that's the direction you want. So there you go. If we were to get any other Haslabs, I can't think off the top of my head what it could be. I'd have to go through things and see what it is, but whatever. All right, so that's this video, and we will continue on, and there will be more Buster Quest in the future when it's appropriate, and but for right now, I'm just going to sit back and just kind of watch things happen. So take it easy. We'll talk to you later. Skál. And we'll see you in the next one.